Majora's Mask has earned its reputation as the darkest Zelda game. However, as you're navigating through its dark and depressing story, sometimes it's hard to pay attention to little details, like the little Easter eggs and secrets that the devs put in for us Zelda fans to enjoy. So without further ado, these are secrets and Easter eggs from The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. In Majora's Mask, you find that gossip stones don't have much of a use, but if you throw a bomb at one and it explodes, you'll find that they decide to take flight. I think this one's pretty funny. In the corner of the bomb shop, there are various diagrams and drawings hung up on the wall. If you read them, you find out that they are trying to use bomb-powered flight to make it to the moon. Behind the desk of that very same bomb shop is a GameCube. I think it's pretty cool they were able to hide this in plain sight. Through the peepholes in Cafe's hideout, you're able to look into the curiosity shop. If you look to the right, there's a tiny Rob figurine sitting on the desk. Pretty sure this one's only in the 3DS version. If you enter the curiosity shop at midnight on the second day, Seikon with the stolen bomb bag will try to bargain with the owner, but knows that it is stolen and threatens to tell the bomb shop next door. After a counter argument from Seikon, he says that he's just the middleman and is totally innocent. Seikon finally agrees, but he drops the price down even more. I don't know, I find this conversation so funny. Inside the mountain village, there's tons of toys for small children, but there's also a Wii remote tucked in the corner on the 3DS version. Nice job, Nintendo. If you get a room at the Stockpot Inn and look through this crack on 10 p.m. at the second day, you'll find Anju and her mom having a conversation about leaving town and heading to the ranch. However, Anju just wants to find Cafe. Her mom mentions how Cafe might have ran off with Crimea, referencing the love triangle that is really going on. If you're more interested in that, there's probably hundreds of videos on YouTube about it. If you talk to the swordsman on the third day, he mentions that the moon is falling, and that we shouldn't worry because he's going to cut the moon into pieces, because he apparently has so much skill. If you enter the school during the final hours, you'll find a sign saying that he has gone on vacation and to not look for him. But if we cut the board in the back, we find him cowering in fear, exclaiming that he's scared and can't take it and he doesn't want to die. This really shows the deeper side of this game. Inside Crimea and Romani's room, you can find stuffed Epona up on the shelf, and in the corner of the room is Ganon's horse, which probably fell off of the shelf. If we later head into the barn, we see Crimea and Romani talking about how they're going to make Chateau Romani, which is basically alcohol, and that Romani is going to get to drink tonight because she's an adult. However, Crimea is really trying to ease the death they're going to have from the falling moon, which, oh my god, this is like next level darkness. If you follow them outside the barn, both of them will say goodbye to you one last time. That got a little dark. Let's get back to the fun stuff. In the fishing hole on the 3DS version, you can catch a big, fat Lord Chapu Chapu, a reference to Lord Jabu Jabu from Ocarina of Time. If you show the swamp pictograph guy a photo of Tingle, he'll tell you it's his son, and he's very disappointed at him. If you enter Evan's room, the song playing might sound a bit familiar. It's because it's actually the Game Over theme from Zelda 1. If you help Crimea deliver the milk shipment after you've already gotten the Romani mask, she'll give you a nice hug. In the Ikana Castle boss fight, if you use the Captain Kita mask, he will actually believe that you are Captain Kita, but realizes that you aren't because you're so tiny. Also, if you use the Bremen's mask, his two soldiers will start marching along behind you. This one's really funny. If you use a mask found in Ikana Canyon, you can make Redeads dance like this. If you've played the game, you've probably already seen this, but I think it's too funny to leave out of the video. On the third night of Ikana Graveyard, this big Poe will appear as a boss fight. Dompe will run away because he's scared, but if you check his room, he's actually hiding under his bed. For someone who lives in a graveyard, this is pretty surprising. If you talk to the mask salesman while wearing different masks, including the transformation masks, he'll give you a customized response for each different mask. This one's pretty cool, and it's fun to read all the little descriptions. If you paid attention to character models in Majora's Mask, you can tell that Romani and Crimea both have a Bowser pendant around their neck. If you knew this one, put Bowser down in the comments. And while you're there, why not click subscribe? On the bottom floor of the Astral Observatory, there's actually a cucko trapped in a cage. You can use your sword to hit him on top of this box, and he will never die and infinitely spawn hordes of cuccos to come and kill you. It really makes me think, where did this guy get his powers, and why is he trapped in a cage for all eternity? In that same room underneath some pots, there's a dolphin logo on a piece of paper. This is referencing Nintendo's next console, the GameCube, which was codenamed Dolphin. If you enter the Deku Palace at night, you can actually see how far the Deku Scrubs can see you from, so you can know when you're actually going to get caught. If you allow yourself to flow down the Akana River, right below the canyon, it actually will lead into the Southern Swamp. This is a pretty neat shortcut, but in the game there's not very many reasons to use it. Still cool nonetheless. If you've played Majora's Mask, you might have noticed this Gwei circling Clocktown. If you play him one of the 4 temple songs, he will actually start dropping rupees. You can pick them up while riding Epona, and it's a pretty cool little minigame that not that many people know about. While we're on the topic of Gweis, if you decide to go hunting for them in Akana Canyon, eventually a giant Gwei will spawn. He still dies from one bow shot like the others, but it is really cool. There are exactly 10 cow statues hidden throughout Clocktown. One is at the bank, one is at the front desk of the mayor's residence, one is on the mayor's desk, one is in the Stockpot Inn, one is in Grandma's room on a bookshelf, one is in the trading post, one is in the bomb shop, one is in the swordsman school, one is in the lottery shop, and one is hidden in the back of the curiosity shop. These are pretty fun to find whenever you're doing a nice playthrough of the game. If you get hit by a bubble, normally you can't use your sword. But if you play the Song of Storms, you'll be able to use your sword again. This is because the Song of Storms cures curses. If you go into the post office on the final day, you can find the postman telling himself that he wants to flee. If you look on his bed, he wrote a letter to himself, saying that he's been doing a great job delivering mail and he requests for himself to run away and take refuge. I never really noticed this letter, so it's really cool to see it here. If you take a look at the back of Grandma's chair, you'll notice it has a tiger emblem on it. This references her pet tiger in Ocarina of Time. If you look through the telescope in the Astral Observatory and look to the left, you can find a Skull Kid in the grass. This is a really cool one that blends in, and it's really hard to notice. In northern Termina Field, there's a music note staff that can sometimes display songs from Ocarina of Time. If you play correctly, you can actually get yourself some rupees. If you get the Moon's Tear on the first day, everything will look normal and Skull Kid will still be possessed by Majora's Mask. You'll see the tear fall and nothing else will change. However, if you do this on the 3rd day, Skull Kid will just ominously stare at you, look up to the moon, and then the tear will fall. After that happens, he just looks back. This shows how Skull Kid is slowly falling into insanity as Majora's Mask possesses him. And for our final Easter egg, I left the best one for last. After Seikon steals the bomb bag, you can shoot him with your bow and commit a murder. This game is great. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching me yap about my favorite Zelda game. I actually really enjoyed this, and I would love to do it for a different Zelda game. So if you have any ideas, please leave them down in the comments. And while you're down there, why not subscribe? It's free and it helps out a lot. And it makes sure that I do more of these. So I hope you all enjoyed. Have a great day, and goodbye.